strange specters in the middle of the dark, unknown creatures lurking in the rivers, and even a ghost girl clinging to the cab of a truck. These are 7 horror videos you shouldn't watch at night. Number 7. Specter on board. Our first contact with the world of night terror was on board of a commercial airliner that was about to take off into the sky that winter night. The protagonist, an ordinary passenger, is recording the experience with his camera. It was probably one of his first times on a plane. Perhaps that's why he wanted to document the moment. The plane staff welcomes him and he immediately starts walking towards his seat, unaware that he's about to discover something chilling. As he makes his way through the completely empty plane, he gets the feeling that something strange is about to happen. Something is unsettling the man, and then we discover what it is. The image only lasts for a few seconds, but if we manage to see it in slow motion, we observe a spectral and dark body that crosses from one road to another, as if it were a fleeting shadow. The passenger cannot believe what he has just seen. For him, it must have been a simple optical illusion. But he's wrong. By watching the video, it becomes clear to him that it wasn't a trick of his imagination. It was real, perhaps too real. And although he couldn't do it, for an instant he wanted to get off the plane. Number 6. The reflection in the mirror. The next recording on this list was captured by a security camera in a random shoe store. At first glance, there doesn't seem to be anything unusual. A sales clerk is waiting for the arrival of a customer who enters the store a few seconds later and asks about different models. It's then, while they are both engaged in conversation, that the real horror occurs. Behind them, in the corner of the store, right where the mirror is located so that customers can show off their purchases, a figure emerges with the body of a shadowy woman. Her skin and clothes are black. Her movements are heavy, and although there's no one to project that image in front of the mirror, there she is, a demonic apparition. No one seems to notice her presence. In fact, it lasts no more than a dozen seconds. Somehow, she has only come to this place to observe attentively those who are invading her domain. That is why, after leaving, we can only wonder what might happen the next time she returns. Number 5. No explanation. Driving in the middle of the night can cause serious problems for the heart, especially if, while behind the wheel, you come across the following creature. The video takes us to a road on the outskirts of a city. Street lighting is non-existent in this place. On the edges of the road, there are dirt paths and the pavement looks gloomy, hidden by the darkness that barely manages to illuminate the headlights of the car. It's in this scenario that the camera manages to capture an irregular situation, something that notoriously unsettles and stresses the passengers of the vehicle. On the side of the road, the humanoid and completely hairless figure walks forward, but unconcerned. Its body moves almost by inertia. The details of its body are barely visible, but the image has led many to identify it almost immediately as an alien or humanoid from the ends of the earth. However, a deeper analysis allows us to understand that it is, in fact, a woman. She walks in the darkness of a moonless night and doesn't seem preoccupied. Her footsteps lead her towards her destination, although no one can explain what it might be. It's disturbing and completely frightening to think that what lies behind the story of this woman who refused to talk to the passengers, almost as if she couldn't see them. More details on this strange video are unknown, but what we can observe is enough for us to understand that it's a situation that escapes logic or any explanation. Number 4. A half-told story. Social networks are full of stories that start but never end. Most of them leave us with unexplicable facts and scary moments that we can't fully understand, as is the case with the following video on the list. On this occasion, it all starts with an adorable rabbit, which is quiet in the middle of a dirt road. Its gaze is lost in the distance of the horizon, although something catches its attention. Perhaps because it senses danger or because its animal instinct indicates it's better to run away. The rabbit moves frantically as if trying to escape from something or someone. Its attitude attracts the attention of its owners, who quickly appear on the scene, their attention focused on the little animal. This is fatal, as it prevents them from observing what's really important. It happens right on the left side of the image. There, a figure suddenly appears. Can you see it? It's a pair of legs running away in the darkness. Just a pair of legs, because if you pay attention, you'll discover that they have no torso or head. Nothing makes sense and there's no explanation either. The person who uploaded this video doesn't give further details and doesn't want us to believe him. He has only shared a disturbing recording, the proof that we are witnessing something out of this world. But what do you think about this video? Is it some kind of alteration or is it really a true story? Tell us your opinion in the comments. Number 3. A poisoned inheritance. For many people, there's no greater stroke of luck than to inherit property from their relatives. It's a small place for which they can start making their lives. But sometimes it's best not to be overconfident, especially when the inheritance is a small cabin on a lonely mountain far from civilization. The following story paints exactly this picture. A young man went to visit what seemed to be a paradisiacal place to get away from the urban chaos, but it soon became the source of his worst nightmares. At night, he began to hear disturbing noises outside, footsteps that announced the presence of a person. Someone was insistently prowling around, and when he woke up, he found handmade runes and pagan symbols on the entrance of his property. That completely terrified the young man, but he decided to stay there one more night. He wanted to get to the bottom of the matter, and he was ready to discover who was responsible for those acts. At midnight, when he heard the footsteps in the grass again, he went out to face the danger. It was then that he came face to face with her. Hidden in the darkness, a not very tall figure was watching him. When he finally was able to illuminate its face, he discovered that it was a completely bald woman with a deformed look and rabbit mouth. At first, she didn't pay attention to him, but as soon as she looked at him, she began to mutter some words that pushed our protagonist to desperately escape from the place. On social networks, many have questioned what could be behind this video. Some believe it's an ancient witch of the forest, while others recall the druids of the legends of Britannia. Neither theory is completely far-fetched, but it remains difficult to decipher the real one. Number 2. In the depths. Enjoying a boat ride with your friends sounds like a fantastic plan, a truly enchanting experience, but if you intend to do it in the middle of the night, in a wasteland that's believed to be haunted, the idea may not sound so fun anymore. However, fun could be a subjective concept, and this group of young people went into the deep waters of their town's river to prove to its inhabitants that nothing bad was happening. And as you can imagine, they were wrong. While navigating the waters of the river, one of the boys is recording the trip as best as he can. Darkness covers the whole area. His friends can barely distinguish themselves by using the lights of their cell phones, but everything seems to be in order. So far, the trip is pleasant, at least until one of them decides to caress the water with his hand, and someone pulls him down. The young man can't believe it. He instantly pulls his arm away and tries to figure out what just happened. He can't see anything, but we can, thanks to the camera. In the depths, we can see a strange figure moving slowly. It's almost imperceptible, but there it is, and moments later, its monstrous hand slowly emerges, revealing elongated and uniform fingers, typical of a sea beast or a monstrous creature. Its arm has dark skin, its nails look like claws, and although the video ends a few seconds later, it certainly brings us closer to a disturbing sighting. To date, no one has managed to get more information from this story. Number 1. Figures in the dark. You'll now witness one of the most chilling images you'll discover this week. It's a disturbing and quite blurry video that, despite its low quality, shows a scene worthy of the worst nightmares. In the recording, there's absolute darkness, which is desperately illuminated by a small flashlight. Light spreads all over the place as best as it can, and on its way, it crosses paths with something terrifying. It's a strange shape that hides its face between its hands. Its body's amorphous and uneven, and then, when we think it can't be more terrifying, it looks directly into the camera. Only in that instant are we aware that we're witnessing something macabre and disturbing. This unknown creature that's difficult to classify emits a hellish scream and stares at the intruders with deep, fiendish eyes, where you can almost see all the horrors of the universe. The video ends too soon to know anything else. It's barely a portrait of something out of our planet, an encounter difficult to comprehend, but which was undoubtedly taken from the ocean of nightmares. Zone 0. The image you're about to see was captured on one of the most inhospitable and rural roads in Tolima, Colombia. Its author was a woman, a co-driver on a road trip, who was recording a video when a car, baptized in social networks as the ghost car, crossed the road. According to the narration of the protagonists, a truck suddenly emerged and positioned itself just in front of the car, preventing it from accelerating. However, this was a minor detail if we consider there was a girl hanging on the back. She was surrounded by stakes, was wearing torn and worn clothes, had irregular balance and skin so white that it seemed to be transparent. At first, the group didn't believe it was a ghost, the result of a perverse and irresponsible act. They photographed the girl to denounce those responsible for the reckless event. But as the ride progressed, something happened, a thing that continues to terrify the passengers to this day. After passing a sidewalk, the girl vanished in front of their eyes. Her body disappeared, almost as if she had never existed. Puzzled by the scene, he managed to get the driver's attention, and both vehicles stopped on the side of the road. When they showed him the photo and told him what had happened, the man couldn't believe it. Although it was the first time he saw the girl, he had received similar reports in the past. Now he knew it was true, but he still didn't know the girl. The story was covered by several media outlets in Colombia and made it to several newscasts. The ghost girl surprised everyone, but it isn't the first time something like this has happened. In fact, this type of situation is frequent in places where there's no urban chaos. Outside the big cities, there are hundreds of terrifying stories and spooky sightings that could paralyze your heart. If you think you're ready to hear those stories, join us in the following videos and let the facts speak for themselves.